Welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News. It's time now to review headlines of today's newspapers. And of course, we're going to start with the newspaper of record.
And that's this day on Saturday, where the lead story says federal government justifies proposed 60,000 new minimum wage. Labour declares nationwide strike Monday. And the riders, government insists offer aligns with economic reality. Organized private sector expresses concern over lack of consensus on negotiation, says Labour's demand has potential to cripple businesses. I think this is probably the biggest story, that we will find on all the covers of all the newspapers, and it's so apt that these days also featuring as the lead story. Federal government 1 year after justifying 60,000 minimum wage to Labour, which has now declared an indefinite strike that will start on Monday. If 60,000 justifies, aligns with economic reality, as the federal government wants us to believe, then how should an average Nigerian worker cope? If everything, because what the federal government has basically done is to increase the minimum wage by 100%. But then every other thing, from electricity to fuel to inflation to cost of living, has from jumped to far more than 100%. So how should the Nigerian worker cope? What sort of economic reality are we dealing with when the same economic realities are not being applied to how the political office holders, the lawmakers, etc., are being treated? I hope that there will be a way, to find reason and agree with Labour. Is federal government therefore saying that is unable to pay what Edo State is paying at 70,000 naira? And I believe that Edo, from reports, has already started paying. I think that this is something that we have to deal with if we were quick to implement all the reforms. But the only thing that people can cope with in 1 year of an administration, we've not been able to do anything at all, other than a few palliatives. I'm not so sure that that is good enough.
It seems like such a far cry from the initial 494,000 that they were asking for. They might look at it as a 100% increase, but really and truly, like you said, 60,000 naira is not going to do anything. It's nothing. But I'll just say, Nigeria, we healed. We healed.
Welcome, patriots. All right, other stories on top of the lead. Barrow, Zonal Development Commission bills won't return Nigeria to regional government. That story is on page 5 of today's This Day. And on top of that, the strip story, tight security as Emir Sanusi Bayero attends separate Jumat prayers. That story is on page 10. Who is the Emir now, by the way?
Well,
according to the governor.
We have Emir Sanusi in the main palace in Kano. And then we have the deposed Emir Bayero in the Nasarawa Palace holding Jumat prayers there, and Emir Sanusi holding Jumat prayers in the main mosque in Kano. Who is the Emir is...
So we have a parallel Emirati in Kano. That's what it sounds like.
It seems so.
Like we have always had parallel congresses, parallel Naira notes. We have about the only country spending two different Naira notes at the same time. And they're both legal, isn't it? Interesting days. Kano.
I saw that video yesterday when there almost seemed that it looked like there was going to be a clash between both followers, but I think they were able to quickly diffuse the situation.
I think the Bayero camp clarified on the post that was on social media about him leading the Jumat, where Emir Sanusi, was meant to lead it. Interesting, isn't it?
Very, very, very interesting. Well, there are stories on there.
All right. On top of that, I think we missed this on the week that was. Trump says he will appeal historic conviction. That's on page 5. Donald Trump, hate him or like him, is
now a convicted felon.
And he's using this conviction. I checked his website yesterday and I saw that His donations are coming in now more than ever. America is such an interesting place.
I don't know if it's coming in more than ever or if he's using us as marketing to get more donations. Again, Donald Trump is a convicted felon for these charges. He has 2 other cases he's currently facing. This is also a man that has faced other charges in the past. He's settled fraud cases. He's had sexual assault cases. And that is the most bizarre thing about America is that as a voter, as a convicted felon in Florida, he will be unable to vote, but he will be able to run for president of the country, which shows the absurdity.
How dramatic, therefore, will it be if he wins?
Well, I think, but it does show that there's always a need for reform, because I do not think the American consciousness believed that they could have an actual candidate running for president who has been convicted of a felony.
Yes.
All right. Last but not the least, from this day, after diesel exports, Dangote's $20 billion refinery ships first jet fuel cargo to Europe anticipates curbed naphtha flows in push for petrol production. Some good news there, isn't it? From Dangote refinery. Shall we move to, what do we have? Tribune or Telegraph?
We have the Saturday Tribune. Of course, the major story there reads, minimum wage workers begin indefinite strike on Monday. Calm in Kano as Sanusi and Bayero hold parallel Friday prayers. Military, we kind of touched on most of this.
There's a story here actually on the Saturday Sun that we have not touched on, but it always remembers Rivers of Trouble. Fubara cancels 10,000 jobs offered by Wike government. This is the Saturday Sun. The bottom story there goes, Fubara cancels 10,000 jobs offered by Wike government, promises fresh recruitment. And when we talk about continuity in government, we've spoken about the Fubara versus Wike, predecessor versus successor beef, but now 10,000 jobs cancelled.
Always the people that are
the deaf and dumb in River State, is already alive to his responsibilities, and he's speaking, he's acting, let him roll. Let him roll. Quickly from the Punch, there's an interesting story. The only one that is different from all the other ones will be demand of NSAS protesters legitimate. That's Sam Adeyemi on page, I think it's an interview, pages 16 and 17. Is that not the pastor that jackbad, and said that he had a dream?
Yes, he explained the reason why he left, because he was, he had, I think, the same dream on the same night, and he was in a fight, and it seemed as if he was going to stay back in Nigeria, he might have been attacked.
Well, he's back, isn't he?
No, the interview was done, I think, virtually.
Oh, I read something about he's been back off and on, that the interview was like 3 years ago or something like that.
Interesting.
Yeah, but if you had a dream that your country, that you might be attacking your country where your members are, what you do is to leave, right?
You can't relocate all the members now.
Okay, but the tithes can come from here. All right, any other thing just before we go? I think we have
I think we've taken most of these stories.
Did you do
I think Kaduna, so on the Saturday Sun, there's a story about Kaduna and banditry. Bandits strike again, kill 13 persons in Kajuru, and there's a traveler's nightmare. So
all right.
Yeah, I think we're done. I just wanted to quickly touch on this. I just saw it. We will make Nigeria Africa's hub in global electronic vehicle revolution, says Tinubu.
We will make. Okay. We believe you, Mr. President. All right. That brings us to the end of the morning show today. Thank you for watching, and do stay safe. I'm Steve Ayorinde.
I'm Shaitan Atigari.
Well, thank you very much for enjoying the show today. I am Adesu Agiwa-Sage from my entire team here in Lagos, Nigeria. Enjoy the rest of your morning and, of course, the rest of your day.